Alright guys, welcome back to another tutorial. I have the legendary Steven Tran with me here today, and we're gonna be cutting his hair, but that's not gonna be the focus of this tutorial. The focus of this tutorial actually is gonna be around a very popular question that I always get asked in my academy. How do I like to create my content? When we jump into this idea of content, I wanna break this down into the simplest format ever, right? And what's the simplest format? It's gonna be showing you guys how I shoot. So this video isn't gonna cover how I edit, but it's gonna cover how I shoot and how I shoot to edit. So I want you guys to understand a few pointers before I get started here in this video. Number one, I wanna simplify my process as much as I can so that when I get to my editing portion, I already know what it is that I'm editing. Number two, I wanna shoot this video in the use of using an iPhone, because an iPhone is probably the most easiest tool that we're able to use daily in the shop, right? We're just able to pull it out, boom. I wanna show you guys how I create a video through the lens of an iPhone and the angles that I capture and how I like to capture it when doing a creative haircut. But before we get started on that, let's go ahead and start off with a nice consultation for Steven. All right, Mr. Tao, what would you like to get done today?
So I noticed my hair was a little heavy when styling. I was looking to reduce a little bit of weight, add more texture. For my sideburns, I would probably not want to necessarily taper it off, but keep it a little more natural.
Natural, but also do you want it a little bit more clean? Are you open to getting, you know, something closer to ice picks?
Yeah, I'm down for ice picks.
Okay, sick.
Yeah.
Let's not focus on the consultation, but let's focus on the reason why I chose to go with the consultation before jumping into filming, right? Number one thing that you need to understand when you're filming content is that most of the time, if you're filming content in your 1 hour slot or your 1 hour, 45 minute, 30 minute slot, you gotta understand, okay, in order to film and take care of my client and make sure he leaves satisfied, you need to go in with the exact game plan. So as I go into my consultation, I'm gonna dive into a couple of things that I know that I need to ask him before just start cutting his hair. Because once you pull a camera out and you're cutting someone's hair, you might get lost in the sauce and you might end up giving him a haircut that he didn't want to end up with. So some things I want to ask Steven is, how do you feel about the choice of length in your bangs?
I probably want a slightly higher, but the length is not too long right now.
Okay, so immediately we know one thing. He doesn't want to change the length up too much, but he doesn't mind going slightly shorter. What about the length in the mullet?
I'll let you decide that.
Okay, sick. So he gave me creative freedom. Now, he said that he wanted weight reduced and he wanted texture added. These are things that the client isn't gonna notice as much. He's gonna notice more things like, oh, he went too short in the bangs. Oh, he went too short with the mullet. Me adding texture and me reducing weight is gonna be kind of up to me to decide how much it is I'm gonna add, right? So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys a setup for how I'm gonna shoot this haircut. The very first tool that you will need for this portion is gonna be the iPhone. And with my iPhone, you're gonna be able to create such good videos. I feel like people don't understand that the iPhone actually creates such realistic videos that can actually do a lot of numbers and attract a lot of clients. So the first tool that you'll need is an iPhone. Second tool that you'll need is a tripod. And you wanna get a tripod that's as tall or can get taller than your natural height. Reason being, you wanna get over the shoulder shots. You want shots as if Steven's cutting right now, I wanna get shots of me cutting higher than him. So the importance of getting a tripod that's high enough is gonna be key to success when creating these reels. Let's go ahead and cape him up and get him ready for the shoot. Once it's caped up, you gotta understand where he's gonna stay, how the head position is gonna be formed, and where my tripod is gonna be at. I wanna shoot with the light. So the light is coming in this direction. So I'm gonna change the angle of shooting to this direction. I wanna shoot where the lighting is the best. So it's gonna be right here that I wanna capture each time. All right, so for this video, I'm gonna be shooting a process reel, which is gonna be capturing the process of this haircut. So with the process reel, it's not really like a before and after transformation. I'm not really showcasing, you know, any type of consultation in the video. I'm really showcasing the process of me cutting his hair. The first clip that I'm gonna grab is actually when his hair is completely wet. Let's just go ahead and wet his hair down. Next thing I wanna do is I wanna go ahead and study the first section that I'm gonna grab. So before I shoot it, I'm just gonna see if it's a satisfying section that I can actually grab. Once I study that and I decide, okay, this is gonna be the section that I'm gonna add in my video, I go ahead and place my tripod and my camera exactly where it is. So the tripod is gonna stay same height as me, and it's gonna be angled closer to his head. So this is gonna be the first clip that I'm grabbing. Right where I know is gonna look satisfying. I go ahead and press record on my iPhone. Right when I press record, I go ahead and create my first section. Push everything else directly forward and pull everything else back. Okay, and you don't need to overshoot, okay? Once you have a clean section, you're gonna go ahead and pause. Now, the second section I wanna grab is gonna be right over here, okay? But when you're shooting, you don't wanna look like you're actually thinking and looking at where you're doing it. So what you need to do is you need to identify exactly where it is you need to grab the section. It's gonna be at the roundness of the head into the corner of his hairline. So the first thing that I'm gonna do here, so you need to create 2 checkpoints before filming. A, B. Once you have that in your brain and you've identified that, you're gonna create your second angle, zoom in just a little bit, and then you're gonna go ahead and create your section. Place your clip, because I also want this in the video, and you're gonna hit record one more time and pause. So once you've grabbed the clips that you want in your video, you don't need to shoot everything, okay? You don't need to overshoot. I have 3 clips so far, and that's already 10% of my video done. So now what I go ahead and do is I'm just gonna go ahead and section everything out. I'm gonna do the other side as well. I'm gonna section everything out until I get to my point where I wanna film more of. We're gonna go ahead and read the cowlick. Okay, I'm just doing the same thing, but I'm not recording because this is not I don't need to repeat clips, right? Once I have one done, I could just go ahead and do the other side. Okay, so I'm just matching right and left side right now for the crown, isolating the back. Now we're getting into a portion where I want to film again. So I pull my tripod back in, and it's gonna be a sectioning shot of a vertical section straight down the middle. So I'm gonna go ahead and press record on my phone. And I'm gonna go ahead and create that shot, but you gotta make sure you're out of the way. Most people do this. Okay, when you're creating these videos, you wanna stay out of the frame. So take a look exactly where the section, move out of the way, and you're just gonna create that section. Okay, come back in, come back out. Clip it up. Just make sure the middle is nicely isolated. Okay, and we're gonna turn the chair now. I'm gonna reposition my camera into an angle that's gonna capture this cutting angle. Okay, press pause. The reason why I keep pressing play and pause is because I don't wanna get mixed up when I'm editing. So I wanna just edit exactly what I shot. So I'm gonna press pause, and I'm not gonna film unnecessary clips. Once I get the angle down, press play. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and pull up exactly the angle that I wanna capture. Once I get that angle down, read the line, grab more, make sure you're staying out of the frame. Okay, leaving the external a little bit longer, and you're gonna press pause, and that's gonna be it for the cutting clip for the middle. Notice how I'm not filming too much. Now I move on to the left and the right side because the main clip that I wanted to grab was this middle here. And once that was filmed, I'm not gonna overshoot. We're just gonna be doing the right side. And honestly, the shape, I'm gonna be moving horizontally round. So because this is not a part where I'm filming, I get to move a little bit faster in salon speed and speed up my shear work. And I don't have to be so intentional of what angle I'm standing at. So this is just me moving at the rate I would move in when I was cutting, if I was cutting hair. Okay, and because everything was point cut, I'm just gonna go ahead and point cut the rest of this as well. Nothing changes. I'm just moving horizontally round. Removing just some of that weight. I'm gonna keep traveling to this side. Okay, we're just moving around onto my third section. Okay, in this very last section over here, I'm just gonna go ahead and grab everything up. Okay, check my guide. Same thing on the other side. Grab this as well. Okay, and as I'm cutting, guys, what I'm thinking of is what areas of this haircut do I want to film? Because I already know, okay, I'm gonna be layering the back, I'm gonna be giving him a fringe, you know, I know the steps of the haircut. At this point, what I'm thinking about is what areas of this haircut that I'm gonna choose to film, because your next step of pulling out the tripod and camera being there and having everything be ready needs to be locked in, right? This is not a part where you're able to just like think and brainstorm. The brainstorming process should have all happened in the first 5 minutes of that consultation. At this point, I'm thinking about what's gonna look most satisfying to the camera if I chose to film it, okay? That's what I'm thinking about as I'm cutting these layers in the back. Honestly, the cutting part right now is just, it's coming to me naturally, and what I'm really thinking about and zoning out about is what it is I'm gonna choose to film afterwards. So just get rid of some of the weight in the back. Now that the back is finished, I get to work on the sides. So the first thing that I'm actually gonna do is I'm gonna see how much it is that I'm gonna cut off the sides. Okay, so I'm gonna pull this out, I'm gonna check my length. Okay, because I noticed it's a quite big amount that I wanna cut off, I'm gonna go ahead and bring my tripod back and make sure I capture this angle because I feel like it's gonna be very satisfying if I add it into the video. I'm gonna pull my camera out and I'm gonna get the angle that I wanna capture. So the angle that I wanna capture is me cutting him right here. So the camera has to stay in front of me. I'm gonna zoom into the area that I wanna film, press record. I'm gonna go directly behind Steven, grab that angle. I'm gonna go ahead and grab this angle, push forward. And once I figure out what it is that I need to cut, I'm gonna stand still and focus on my cutting line. And once that shot is captured, again, the tripod is out of the way and I'm moving on. Okay, and I'm moving on and I'm layering the rest of the sides here, and I'm moving a little bit quicker in salon speed. We're gonna grab that angle, boom, see the guide. Remember guys, don't cut past your second knuckle. Bring everything forward. And the sides are also now just finished and I'm able to work on the other side. Okay, same thing on the other side, just going in and layering a lot of this up because not all this weight needs to be here. So just removing some of this weight. I think also a cool thing about this haircut is gonna be that by removing a lot of this weight, his two-tone is gonna be able to properly be executed. Because right now you notice like the blonde is just too heavy and it's just washing out some of the black. Okay, people always say it's so hard filming a video while cutting hair. Well, if you do it the right way and you only film to edit, it's gonna be so easy because you don't need to capture the entire haircut. You're not recording the entire process. You're literally recording bits and pieces of the haircut and you're just putting it together into one video. That's what a lot of people don't understand about creating content when it comes to cutting hair. So easy once you dial in your system. Next step is that we're gonna be working on top. Okay, so I wanna add a sectioning clip to this haircut. So what I'm gonna do is I want my body in it and I want myself sectioning in it. So what I'm gonna do, we're gonna go ahead and place the angle and we're gonna go ahead and grab the angle after pressing record. I'm gonna have him tilt his head back. Me sectioning like this would be the easiest because I can see the checkpoint of his nose. But for the video, it wouldn't help because the angle that I wanna showcase is this angle right here. So what I need to do is I'm gonna tilt the head up, find my checkpoints, lead it to the back, tilt his head back down, and then I'm gonna go ahead and create my sections after that. Clip it up and out of the way. And we're gonna turn the angle, and the angle now that I wanna grab is the cutting angle. So I'm gonna reposition my camera. Again, press record because you wanna end the clip there. and you wanna know when the next clip starts, zoom it in a little bit, and I'm gonna film exactly what I wanna film. From here, we're gonna go ahead and pick it up. Okay, I'm gonna use that choice of length in the back, and boom. Tilt this head slightly. Capturing the entire angle for this process here. And after I capture that angle, I can go ahead and finish out the rest of my haircut. Now I'm moving a little bit more salon speed, going a little quicker. And again, because I already got the angles out of the way, I'm able to move a little bit more freely, a little bit more quick, how I would normally move inside the barbershop. You know, obviously I'm gonna get a few more shots in this video, but for the cutting portion, I'm mainly done. And because this is not gonna be a fade or anything crazy like that, I gotta understand 95% of the process is done. And I'm gonna focus on mostly styling shots and finishing shots that are gonna add an extra element to the video. Okay, all right, haircut is mostly complete. So now what I can go ahead and do is I can go ahead and dry, finish it up, and style it up for the final process. I want you guys to know, like, I'm gonna be doing things like softening and things like that, but I'm gonna be cleaning up his sideburns, and I don't actually want this in the process reel, so I'm not even gonna mind and bother shooting this process. Steven doesn't want a skin taper, so how am I gonna create a mullety look without him wanting a skin taper? Well, I know that the sides need to be cleaned up and need to be reduced in length or weight so that the back can pop out more. I'm gonna do so by creating a little bit more of an icicle effect, right? Creating ice picks so that the sideburns can still look clean, but we don't have to sacrifice by going all the way down to the skin. So how we're gonna do that is we're gonna clean up everything around the sideburns here and just allow them to have a cleaner silhouette leading into the C-cups. So where we're gonna start is I don't wanna lose any of this length. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to keep it as natural as possible, but knowing that it's an ice pick, we're gonna have to push it back just a little bit, right? So where I'm gonna start is I'm gonna start at the bottom and draw a line all the way to the top. But because I wanna know where my end point is gonna be, I'm gonna start at my top and create a small guideline here. Okay, after my guideline is created, I'm gonna start at the bottom. And once I have a base foundation, I can kind of really dial in and clean up exactly what it is I want to do. Okay, and with that, you end up with a very nice silhouette. And you can see now the mullet just pops out way more. And I think cleaning up around the ears is quite crucial for this effect to really serve its role. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. Just creating the ice picks so that his sideburns can have a little bit more of a cleaner silhouette. So here, all right guys, so now I'm gonna go ahead and grab a clip of me softening Steven's hair, and I definitely want the softening part to be focused. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull my camera back out and I'm gonna grab it at an angle where it's a little zoomed in. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually zoom it in the camera, press film, go right behind him, and just start softening away. Okay, and as I soften, I just want to make sure I get enough clips where I'm satisfied with it. And once I feel like I've gotten enough clips, I'm gonna go ahead and remove the camera and the tripod out of my lens. Very simple, guys. You only want to grab the areas where you know is gonna make a big impact on your videos. How many times have we actually filmed and we've noticed that, you know what, this clip is not even gonna be used. So you wanna only grab clips where you feel you know you're directly gonna use that clip. And after softening the top, I also want to soften the back up a little, but this time I'm going to be going in with my texturizing scissor. So I'm going to be softening the back with this scissor over here. So I'm going to get back into shooting with the angle of the back with my camera placed exactly where I want to film. Again, I'm going to have him tilt his head down so I can get a clear vision of what I'm shooting. And I'm going to go ahead and press record, zoomed in, and I'm going to go right behind him. And I'm gonna get the shots that the camera can see best. I can't see this best, but the camera can see exactly what I'm doing. And once I feel like there's enough shots for the camera, I'm gonna go ahead, press record, and then I'm gonna go ahead and visually go in myself and making sure everything is softened properly. Not too much, not too little. Because I wanna get a clip of me blading him now, okay, I'm gonna go in with the tripod and I'm just gonna get a clip of me loading in the blade, tilt his head to the angle I want it at, zoom in as close as I can for the optimal angle. Okay, lock his head in, blade, making sure I'm out of the lens. Okay, because I can't fully see, once I got the angle, I'm gonna go ahead and remove the tripod on the phone and I'm gonna go ahead and finish off my blading process. Okay guys, last shot, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my styling shot. For this product, I'm gonna use Texture Paste by Mason's Pomade. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab an overall body shot, a little bit wider shot of how I'm gonna style his hair. Okay, so place the camera where I wanna shoot it, okay, and I'm gonna hit record. I'm gonna go in, grab my pomade, get a shot of me spreading it out. I'm just gonna go ahead and get a clip of myself styling this look up. And as you guys can tell, the texture is really coming out due to the layering and the softening that I added into this haircut. Okay, and I'm just styling this up. Gonna press pause on my phone and I'm just gonna get it to the final look that I wanna present this in before I get into presentation, which is gonna be my very last part of this haircut. Alright guys, so as I'm capturing the final look of this haircut here, what I'm doing is I'm gonna go ahead and imagine which angles are gonna look best on camera. So I'm gonna turn him around and I'm gonna see if I like this angle, okay, finalize the style. And if I like an angle, I'm gonna go ahead and grab my phone and using my knees, I'm gonna film this as the perfect shot. So we're gonna go right behind him. Okay, make sure to wipe your lens one time. Okay, we're gonna press record and we're gonna bend with our knees. One more time, press record and bend with our knees. And that's gonna give us like this panned shot that you want for your videos. This way. Okay, same thing, using our knees. And I'm just gonna grab 3 angles, one from the side, one from the other side, and one from the front. And I'm gonna have him look up slow. And once I capture these angles, I'm gonna be able to show you guys how this video is put together. So what I'll do is you're gonna be able to see all these clips throughout the video, and at the end of the video, I'll go ahead and attach my final version of this video, and I'll move out of the screen right now so you guys can see the final look of this haircut.